Hi everybody, thanks for joining us at Rangetech. We're here for a little show and tell with the modular driven technology HS3 chassis. We have her set up with flat dark earth side panels, but there are 4 other colors available to switch out with. This might not seem like a big thing, but these panels actually have several purposes. If you're in a tactical or combat situation, these are going to allow you to switch out to different terrain, different settings, different time of year very easily. We've also equipped these with with 6.5-inch side Picatinny rails with a QD cup built in. This allows the tactical shooter the chance to use laser designators, stuff like that. The chassis is also designed with an oversized trigger well so that you can use gloves in this in the winter time and have easy access to the trigger, to the bolt release. The pistol grip is interchangeable with any type of AR-15 grip as long as you're using a flat top. Now I've attached this, there's only just the one bolt in the bottom, just like any other AR-15 type platform. On the bottom of the chassis you have bolts here, or bolt holes, excuse me, which allow the use of a Picatinny rail on the bottom as well. This means that you can switch out to any of the higher end types of bipods out there that are a bit more robust and maybe provide a bit more stability than the cheaper bipods. That said, I've been using a Harris on there, no problem, and we've got the standard rifle sling attachment to hook that up. I forgot to mention that the other reason that these side panels were added to this design was specifically for winter use. This keeps you from freezing your hands on the aluminum. Aluminum is extremely good at transferring heat. So even if you have gloves on, your hands are going to freeze if they're against the bare aluminum. This gives you a bit of airspace underneath there. The chassis accepts any type of AR-15 buffer tube on the back with the use of a lock nut, just like any AR-15. However, for our testing, we decided we were going to use MDT's skeletonized buttstock that you see on the workbench here. In order to use that, you need this adapter that threads into the back, and this just goes on in a couple of minutes. So to get any play out of there, or prevent play once it's set up, you're going to want to take a strap wrench and just give that a snug. You're not giving it much. It's you're not trying to torque it down like a wheel nut or something. But just to keep that tight while you're installing this. And this is quite a tight friction fit, and it helps to turn the buttstock as you're installing it until you're lined up. And once you get it close and get the alignment pin into there, you can give it a couple of light taps with a plastic mallet, and that is installed, save for the the pinch bolt. So next thing is the action. Now the chassis comes with 2 different lengths of bolts, and the shorter bolt goes in the front and the longer bolt goes in the back. And you're going to need an extended Allen key to get these torqued down. And when you're doing this, make sure that both bolts are threaded in but not tight, not just a hair off of snug. This allows the threads to catch cleanly and prevents it being cross-threaded. And then you're going to want to torque your action bolts to 65 inch-pounds. This prevents stripping the action bolts and allows you to have a repeatable 0 as well if you happen to have to take the rifle apart to do anything like replace a trigger. And lastly, our scope, which is already set up, we're gonna mount, and then we're gonna torque the cross bolts down on that as well. So this setup allows for a very ergonomic position on the rifle. You can get behind the scope and make your adjustments without looking and without having to come off of the rifle. Your length of pull, obviously, is the rear wheel. Your cheek rest is the upper front wheel. The buttstock is shaped so that you can bring your hand in here, still have control of your rear bag, if you're using a rear bag, or to brace it against your shoulder. On the bottom of the buttstock, we have 2 threaded holes here and here, and you can add a section of Picatinny rail there, so that if you're using a monopod, you can easily attach that, and that folds up out of the way. The chassis itself, though it may look fairly heavy, is actually pretty reasonable. The front section of the chassis is actually hollowed out, it's machined inside, and there's a cap that's attached to the front. We've both found, like my son and I have both found this to be really comfortable to shoot, really easy to control, and we both really like the pistol style grip on precision rifles. My only qualms would be that, you know, you switch out to a straight plastic grip, and this just allows a little bit more dexterity as you're coming off the grip to run the bolt. And you know, that's just a personal preference. Other people are going to say the opposite. They like, you know, the rubberized grip with the finger notches. I like the fact that there's a lot of space between the chassis and the barrel. On a hot round like the 338 Lapua Magnum, you get a lot of heat, and anything you can do to cool the barrel quick is going to be to your advantage. It's going to be easier on your barrel. It's going to be more accurate. MDT uses an accurate mag, which is 3.715, and this is really good if you're using like a 250 grain bullet in a 338. However, just beware, like with the larger 300 grain bullets, most of those are sized a bit longer. That said, there's nothing wrong with the 250 grain 338 bullets. If you run the numbers on them, they actually fly really well, and almost as well as the 300 grains. And there are some advantages to using those over the 300 grains. So again, the magazine release is right in front of the trigger guard. One interesting feature about this you don't usually see on bolt rifles is when the magazine's empty, it actually will lock the bolt to the back so that you don't think you've chambered on an empty round and try and take a shot. If you want to feed in a single round, you can still do that, just don't cycle the bolt all the way to the back. And if you are going to take it apart and clean it, it's pretty simple just to take the cheek rest off the back, and from there you can get your cleaning rod in here nice and straight. So there you go, this is our 700 XCR with a Terminator T3 brake on the front and the modular driven technology chassis. And she is a beast. But she's not a beast to shoot, she's quite comfortable. And I liked my son's comment the other day. It was his first time shooting the 338, and he said, "Oh, that's not a big deal." And it's like, oh, this is going to get expensive.
Yeah.